let me ask you about some of the big Chinese companies that are listed in the U.S., Alibaba, Baidu. We tend to simplify things, call Alibaba the Amazon of China and Baidu the Google of China, even though that everyone in the room, I think, knows that couldn't be further from what these companies have evolved into. Do you think that American investors understand Chinese companies, or do they see them simply as a proxy for the Chinese economy? You mentioned trade tensions perhaps playing into some of the bumpiness we've seen for these IPOs. And would that make them less willing to perhaps list in the U.S.?
In part. I think that to understand the China, I mean, saying that Alibaba is Amazon is an easy reference. And so you kind of know, yes, they are an e-commerce company. They are now moving into new retail, just as Amazon is doing. But I must say that the whole landscape in China is very different. The whole infrastructure is built up is very different. Alibaba has spun out Ant Financial. That's a huge, initially as a, a payment infrastructure, but it's evolving more than just a payment service. It's becoming a financial services provider. So I think we have to address the market based on what the market looks like, what the consumer demands for, and how the market is evolving. And these companies are evolving with the market, and so they are becoming quite different animal from what the U.S. comparables are or look like.
So what do you think that American VC investors, they're thinking about looking at China and sitting in San Francisco and Silicon Valley, I can tell you that there's a fair amount out there who are scared of Chinese investments because it may be a little bit harder to understand and there is no easy comparison. What's the number one thing that VC investors who are looking at China should know about Chinese startups?
I think there are certain common understanding or common thesis that we can apply in what I call the playbook in the U.S. or the playbook for China or the playbook for, say, Southeast Asia. There are certain underlying trends that drive shifts in consumption, the mobile internet. Today we talk about artificial intelligence. But having said that, each of these markets are very different. The density of the cities are different, the demand for services are different, the sophistication of the consumers are different. So new services will emerge based on the demand from the consumer. So Pinduoduo or the bike sharing services, for example, these are new phenomena. You don't see that in the US. It sort of launched and became big in China, and we are seeing replicas now, outside of China.